Let's talk about sales prospecting for B2B businesses. Sales is the only thing that matters in a business, all right? And I get hate from everyone every time I say that. Yes, from a product point of view, the product matters, all right? But who's using the product? The buyers. From a collections point of view, the unpaid invoices matter, but who's generating the invoices? The salesman. Everything comes down to sales. If your business is not selling anything, you're not a real business, one. And two, you might be in trouble and you might need to just grab email 10K so that you can start actually growing your business. So what do? How do you find these leads? How do you find these prospects, as they're called, to put them on your calendar so that you can actually start generating sales and grow your business rather than pretend to have a business or be the captain of a sinking ship? Stick around. This video is brought to you by Email 10K. Learn how to book meetings with billion-dollar brands and take your company to the next level at email10k.com. Now, there are two goals when it comes to sales prospecting. You want to find the right type of customers, and you want to fill your pipeline with those customers. It's quality, the right type of customers, and quantity, massive amounts of the right type of customers. And if you can master both of those, then your business is going to skyrocket. You're not going to have any trouble booking meetings or making sales. And first, we should talk a little bit about the difference between a lead and a prospect. What is a lead and what's a prospect, and how do you separate the two? Well, a lead is somebody that comes through your website. Maybe you have their email address. Maybe you have their phone number. Or if you're doing outbound, you're doing a cold email process, a lead is somebody who you haven't contacted yet, but they're on your list. Now, how does that compare to an actual prospect? Well, a prospect is somebody who's qualified. Maybe they've filled out the contact form on your site, which includes budget, like ours does at X27 or on any of our businesses. Or maybe if they're a cold email recipient, then maybe they've responded to the emails or even opened the email to prove that they're real. Those are prospects. Now, leads are much easier to generate. If you wanted 1,000 email addresses, you could go out there and maybe run a Facebook ad and collect them worldwide for a penny. Right? But qualified prospects are where it starts getting more expensive. And if we're talking ads again, it'd be like $14, $15 an email for some of these prospects. Or with cold email, it's basically the same cost for both, which is way less at 14 an email. So we don't want more leads. We don't want a higher quantity of unqualified leads. We want super qualified prospects, as many of those as we can get. So let's talk about how to do that. The first thing you want to do is define the prospect. What is a highly qualified person? For X27, it's a golden geese company, so a digital agency that is in the golden geese range, meaning between 5 million in revenue and 150 million in revenue. So big enough that they're going to be able to afford us, but not too big that there's going to be a big enterprise sales process. And you can look at stuff like, what is their net worth if you're selling person to person? What's their business valuation? Or some other requirements. Do they have certain tools? And actually, you can check out a video we're going to make on buyer personas. That's coming out soon, where you can see all the info you want on that, how detailed you can make these buyer personas. So identify as deeply as you can who those prospects are. What problems do they have? Who are they? What sort of businesses do they run? What software do they have installed already? Then after that, you want to find out what the awareness level of the prospect is. If you're selling, for instance, pay-per-click, you're selling Facebook ads, like we talked about before, you want to find out if the prospects are the people that you're targeting. Are they legitimate companies that are already spending thousands or hundreds of thousands a month on Facebook ads, for instance, and you want to take them to the next level? Are they companies that have never heard about Facebook and you want to introduce them to Facebook ads? Or are they companies that have tried with Facebook ads and haven't been able to get any results? Each one of those three, the uneducated consumer, the trying and failing consumer, and the succeeding consumer, are three different targets. You're gonna have three different types of emails. You're gonna have three different types of buyers there, and three different businesses, honestly. So it's good to know which one of those buyers you're going for. And that's gonna influence all of your content. I don't like this because if your customers have low awareness of the problem, it's gonna take you a lot of time and energy and money just to get them to figure out that they need a service like yours, let alone need your service. So I don't like that so much, even though that's kind of what we did with X27, where we had to show the entire agency market about cold email And that actually took us a long time to do and a lot of content. You can see all the content here. But I would rather go into a market that already understands what they need, and then we just become the best provider of that service. And that means my recommendation for you would be to sell to highly aware clients. So people that, for instance, if you're trying to sell Facebook ads, they know they need Facebook ads, or they're running Facebook ads already and failing. And for instance, that means if you're using a tool like Uplead or any of the other lead gen tools we talk about at email10k.com, you can search based on people that have a Facebook pixel installed, for instance, and you can find those that are more likely to be highly aware. And I like those because then you can just send a cold email and you can be talking about Facebook ads, and the question won't be, what's Facebook ads? The question will be, how can this guy help me with my Facebook ads? Help, help, my ads are on fire, I need help. Then you can come in and you can be the savior rather than the teacher. After that, you want to select the best way to reach out. And depending on your prospect, it's going to be different. If they're a golden goose company, like we talk about at Email 10K, where they're sitting in front of their computer and they're between $5 and $150 million in revenue, and they're in certain industries, like maybe they're a services business or a software startup or big tech company, they're going to be at their computer, and cold email is going to be the best way to reach them. If you're trying to sell to local businesses or like restaurants or something like that, then walk-ins might be the best way. Or doctors, especially like dentists, walk-ins might be the best way to do that. For some, it might be cold calls. For some, it might be Facebook ads. If you're trying to go broad, B2C, business to consumer, then advertising might be the best way to do it. So you want to find out the best way to contact those prospects based on how likely they are to buy from that channel that you're approaching them on. And some of that comes down to trial and error, like testing different channels, but in some markets, it's actually very clear. Like for instance, if you're selling any sort of B2B service or SaaS, it's email. It's cold email. 100% it's cold email. So just go to email10k.com and sign up there. Speaking of email, the next step is personalized outreach. So once you've decided that you want to target a certain customer and they're on their computers, they're reading emails, and so you want to do a cold email plan like we talk about on this channel, on so many videos on this channel, the next step is to personalize the outreach. A lot of gurus out there in the sales space will recommend spamming, basically sending 1,000 emails, 2,000 emails to the potential prospects. But what I've found is the most effective way to do this is to write personalized custom compliments, like we talked about in our first line video and we talked about in Email 10K, and actually customize every single email per client. Now, if you're selling something that's under $300 or $400, that's not going to work for you monetarily. But if you're selling a $10,000 service or even a $4,000 service or a $300 service, then contacting each customer one by one will have a massive payoff for you. And it's going to be cheaper than ads, and it's going to be cheaper than any other sort of lead qualification sales strategy that you could try. And personalizing, I mean giving them a custom compliment. So like, hey Alex, love that you're the chairman at X27, big fan of all the content that you guys are putting out. Then the pitch. Or like, hey Mark, just came across your site, really love your approach to selling widgets. Big fan of the company. So just something like that that talks directly to them is all you really need. Then you book the meeting and you go back and forth a few times, you close the client. We actually talk about this in depth in Email 10K, and we've talked about closing in other videos, so you can see that. Then once they're your client, if they're happy, what's cool is you'll start getting referrals. So imagine every client that's happy sending you 1 to 2 more clients. That's what's happening with some of my coaching clients, and actually even my little brother is crushing it right now with his agency. And it's because he did well for one guy. That guy told a couple of his friends in the space. Those guys told a couple people, and now he's flooded. He's got so much business that he's having to raise his prices up. And that happens to a lot of agencies, to the point where 70% of your leads might be coming from referrals. So if you can get that cold funnel going, if you can get the prospecting down to the point where these people are coming in, then you're gonna make money not just from the leads that you're closing, but from the leads that those people then recommend to your service. So it becomes this tidal wave of business. This video is brought to you by Email 10K. So you don't have a business idea, huh? Do you wanna know what the best business to start is, regardless of market conditions? Check out the free presentation at email10k.com. We have over 200 students that are crushing it using this business strategy, even during this time. So check that out, email10k.com. And that's sales prospecting. Thanks for watching. I'm Alex Berman. Be sure to like this video to encourage this type of content on YouTube. Subscribe for more content like this. And if you want this step-by-step, check out email10k.com. Thanks for watching. I'm Alex Berman.